Have you ever wondered if a wild animal looks at you not as a human, but as a delicious meal? Not in Hollywood horror movies, not made-up stories. These are real incidents, recorded over hundreds of years, from the most remote lands on the planet. Today we will uncover the files of the world's most terrifying predators, animal species that are not only powerful, but also intelligent, patient, and sometimes see humans as familiar prey. From the Arctic snow and ice to mangrove swamps, from African rivers to deep Indonesian forests, these stories will make you shiver, your heart beat faster, but also help you understand one thing more clearly. Nature has never completely belonged to us. Let's step with me into the world where humans are sometimes just food. Ready? The story begins right now. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a vast icy wilderness, wind cutting like knives, temperature dropping below -40 degrees. Suddenly, from afar, a gigantic white shadow glides across the ice. That is the polar bear, the true lord of the Arctic region. An adult male weighs up to 700 kilos when standing on two hind legs up to 3 meters tall, enough to look straight into your eyes as if looking at a small creature. They sprint on ice at 40 kilometers/h, swim hundreds of kilometers in the open sea, and especially their nose can smell prey from over a kilometer away even when the prey is buried deep under thick snow. But what makes the polar bear completely different from all other predators on today's list is they hunt humans actively and deliberately. In a freezing world increasingly lacking food due to climate change, humans are not a threat but just a rich source of calories, no different from seals or walruses. They do not avoid us. They track, approach silently, circle research camps or villages at night. In Churchill, Manitoba, the polar bear capital of Canada, locals have an unwritten rule: always leave car doors unlocked, because when the bear appears, you only have one way to survive: dash into the car and lock the door tight. There is no bluffing, no slowly backing away. When a polar bear has locked onto its target, the hunt began long ago, and it rarely ends well. From the icy region, we move to a mysterious and deadly mangrove forest on the India-Bangladesh border, where the tide rises and falls every day, salt water floods the roots, and death can hide behind every mangrove bush. That is the home of the Bengal tiger, the big cat species that has killed the most humans in history. Sundarbans, the 10,000 square kilometer mangrove forest, is the birthplace of classic man-eating tigers. The environment here seems designed by nature specifically to turn tigers into killers, vegetation so dense that you only detect them when a few meters away. Continuous flooding forces tigers and humans to crowd onto narrow strips of dry land. Honey collectors, fishermen, woodcutters have no other choice. They must enter deep into tiger territory every day to make a living. The result is tragedy. In just the period from 1947 to 1983, Sundarbans tigers killed over 3,000 people. Some individual tigers recorded over 100 victims. They strike from behind, biting straight into the neck and skull, ending life in a flash. Locals once came up with the idea of wearing masks on the back of their heads to create the illusion they were looking backward. At first it worked, but the tigers in Sundarbans have learned. They ignore the masks and still attack. Can you imagine the horror when every step on the damp dirt path is a gamble with death? That is not just hunting, it is survival in a harsh ecosystem that humans have unintentionally invaded. And when it comes to the aquatic environment, no species is as terrifying as the two kings of crocodiles. First is the saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile on Earth. Males can exceed 6 meters long, weigh over 1,000 kg, with a terrifying bite force of 3,700 psi, the strongest ever recorded in any living animal. They have perfected their hunting technique over 200 million years of evolution. Imagine this scene: a crocodile floating motionless for hours on the water surface, only its eyes and nostrils visible. It waits with terrifying patience. When prey, whether water buffalo, dog, or human, approaches the bank, explosion. It launches like an arrow, clamps down, then performs the death roll, spinning at dizzying speed, to both drown and tear apart the victim. They make no distinctions. Hundreds of people die each year in northern Australia, Indonesia, and Southeast Asia. Many incidents are never reported because they occur in remote areas. You bathe in the river, wash clothes on the bank, or even stand a few meters from the water's edge. None are safe. In the territory of the saltwater crocodile, you are never truly safe. The Nile crocodile in Africa kills more people than any other large animal, more than lions, hippos, or elephants combined. Estimates are from 300 to over 1,000 deaths per year, and the real number is certainly much higher because most occur in remote villages without reporting systems. They live alongside hundreds of millions of people along the Nile River, lakes, and every waterway where villagers fetch drinking water, bathe, and fish daily. There is no way to avoid them. They are ambush masters. They memorize human and animal routines, lying completely still for hours with only two nostrils breaking the surface. Just 1 second, jaws clamp with two 200-kilo gray force. Drag the victim underwater, death roll begins. Gustave, the legendary crocodile in Burundi, is said to have killed over 300 people and was never caught. These numbers and stories remind us that in many places around the world, the river is not only a source of life, but also where death awaits. Now turning to the African lion. Most lions avoid humans, but once an entire pride learns that we are slow, weak, and easy to catch, real disaster occurs. The most famous case is the two maneless lions in Tsavo, Kenya in 1898. They dragged workers from tents for 9 straight months, completely paralyzing the Kenya-Uganda railway project. Official records noted 35 deaths, but according to locals, the number was closer to 135. Thousands of workers fled, not stopping there. From 1932 to 1947, a lion pride in Ninjambe district, Tanzania, killed about 1,500 people, becoming the deadliest recorded wild animal attack in history. Once lions begin to see humans as prey, the whole pride learns and passes it to the next generation. Today, in Tanzania and Mozambique, incidents still occur regularly, with rural communities living alongside lion prides. Once they start, the only way to stop them is usually to eliminate the entire pride. If we talk about stealth and psychological terror, nothing compares to the leopard. They are not as large as lions or tigers, only 30 to 90 kilo, but they dare enter deep into villages, slip through windows, snatch children right at the doorstep. They operate perfectly in darkness with absolute silence. The Panar leopard in India killed over 400 people in the early 20th century. The Ruja Priyat leopard terrorized an entire district for 8 years, killing 125 people and evading every trap, poison, and hunter. They have astonishing strength when dragging prey twice their weight up trees. They live undetected on the outskirts of cities for years without anyone knowing. When a leopard becomes a man-eater, the fear is not only physical, but also psychological. Entire villages dare not leave home after dusk. Life stops because of a 60-kilo shadow. Spotted hyena, a species many still mistakenly think is a scavenger. A deadly mistake. They are the most successful hunters in Africa, killing up to 95% of their own food. A clan of 30-80 hunts in perfect coordination, running prey to exhaustion. Their bite force is strong enough to crush giraffe bones for marrow. And they eat alive, starting to gnaw while the prey is still breathing. In Ethiopia and Malawi, hyenas frequently enter residential areas at night, dragging people from tents and temporary homes. In the 1960s in Malawi, dozens of people were killed and eaten alive, always at night, always targeting sleeping or vulnerable people. Intelligent, persistent, unafraid of humans. When the whole pack surrounds you in the darkness, there is no escape. Komodo dragon, the largest lizard in the world, 3 meters long, 70 kilo. They don't need to chase. One bite is enough. Saliva contains over 50 strains of bacteria plus venom, causing blood pressure drop, massive bleeding, and shock. They track victims for days, even weeks, waiting for the toxins to finish the job before feeding. They even dig up and eat buried human bodies. The problem became so serious that villagers on Komodo Island had to change burial practices using concrete and heavy stones on graves. A wild animal that changed human funeral rituals. Gray wolf. Rare today, but throughout human history, wolves were the #1 terror. In medieval Europe, France recorded over 7,600 wolf-related deaths from the 13th to 19th century. The beast of Gévaudan in France killed over 100 people, attacking straight at the head and neck. Then rabid wolves, losing all fear instinct, launching unprovoked attacks. In India today, wolves still hunt children tending livestock alone. We didn't win because wolves weakened. We won thanks to better weapons and shrinking forests. Underwater, the bull shark is the one that kills more humans than even the great white. They can swim in both saltwater and freshwater, penetrating hundreds of kilometers up the Mississippi, Amazon, Ganges, even Lake Nicaragua. Extremely aggressive, powerfully muscled, and often attack in murky water where visibility is nearly zero. Reticulated python, the longest snake on Earth, over 7 meters, with cases up to 9 meters. It constrict the victim's chest with every breath, stop the heart, then swallow the entire person whole. In 2017 in Indonesia, a 25-year-old farmer was swallowed whole in a palm oil plantation. In 2018, a 54-year-old woman was swallowed in her own garden. Finally, the sloth bear, the sloth bear in India. They don't hunt humans for food, yet kill and injure more people than tigers. Poor eyesight, easily panicked, then charged with 10-centimeter claws. Direct attacks to the face and head, causing horrific injuries to survivors. Dozens of incidents each year just because humans and bears accidentally encounter each other in the forest while collecting firewood or farming. All these stories are not meant to make you live in fear. They remind us of a profound lesson: we are sharing this planet with animals that still retain their wild instincts intact. When humans encroach too deeply into their territory, sometimes we have to pay the price. Respect the distance, learn to coexist intelligently, and always remember that, no matter how advanced our technology, out there still exist predators that see us simply as a source of food. Which species do you think is the scariest on today's list? Please comment below and share your thoughts. If you love these real, detailed, and sometimes spine-chilling stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support me.
Thank you for listening. Until the very end.
Be careful every time you step into nature. And remember, respect it. See you in the next episode.